Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Carly. Good morning.
Morning. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Capilano University and MSM welcomes you to our Agent eSummit 2020 Live. I am Chirag Mehta, and I'm the General Manager for MSM. During these difficult times, there could not have been any better way for all of us to connect together and keep expanding our knowledge base, get our doubts cleared, and remain confident about the coming future. I hope all attendees have a great learning session today. This session will be conducted by Chris, who's the Director International for Capilano University, and Carley, who is the Communications and Marketing Specialist for CIE. Before we start, we would like to take you through the basic features of Zoom webinar. There are multiple options in the control panel. Please note that this is the webinar and your videos and mics will be inactive during the session. You can participate in the webinar by raising your hands from the raise hand option present in your control panel, wherever the facilitator requests you to. Any questions related to CapU, please put in the Q&A section that appears in your control panel. For any technical questions, you can put those in the chat box. If your questions are not answered during the webinar, we'll be sending an email with all the details to answer all your questions. Handing over to Chris and Carley to start the presentation. I hope you enjoy your webinar.
Thank you very much, Chirag. Welcome to everybody there in India. We hope that you are all safe and well. It's certainly very strange times for us all and difficult times, and I hope that you, your families and friends are all safe under these current conditions. I'm Chris Bottrill. I'm the Director International at Capilano University, and we're really pleased to spend a bit of time with you this morning to go through hopefully some of the questions that you have, and also to make sure that you're aware about all the possibilities that still exist for your students to come to Capilano should they wish to do so. Carley, I'd like to introduce Carley, my colleague. So Carley, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chirag. Yeah, as Chirag mentioned, my name is Carley Fitzpatrick. I'm the Communications and Marketing Specialist at the Center for International Experience. I've been with Capilano for a few years now and in the CIE for just about 5 months. It's been really great getting to know all of your students that come visit us. And yeah, just looking forward to providing some more information about Capilano University for you guys today.
Thank you, Carley. We're going to get started because we don't have a lot of time. I suspect that I might have met a number of you. I've had the good fortune to be to India, I think maybe 6 times, no more than that, 6 to 8 times in the last couple of years. And so if I have, nice to see you again as I see you through the camera here. And if not, I look forward to meeting you hopefully soon in the future. So we're going to spend a bit of time today going through a few things. Number one, about Capilano University's response to the COVID-19 situation. We're going to share with you about Capilano, about our programs, about applications, admissions, a little bit about living in Vancouver, and then a little bit about getting students ready to come here if they're able to do so. We know that you'll have a lot of questions. We're going to share information about deadlines and contacts and things like that as well. But we do have a lot to get through, and we're going to go through that fairly, I think, quickly in about the next 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'd like to hear your questions from you as well. So it's as interactive as we can make it right at the moment, and we really look forward to that question period. We are under the assumption that you might have some students here at Capilano, or you may be wanting to send students to Capilano. So we're going to try and address both those things in this session. And if you are a student and you're watching this, then welcome. We look forward to sharing more about the university as well. So this is what normally happens when I am able to come to India. This is not so long ago. We had a session, and I think this one is in this is, oh gosh. This is Jalandhar or Ludhiana. I think this is Ludhiana. Anyway, we often go Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Chandigarh, down to Kochi, Ahmedabad, And I spend a lot of time with parents and with students and agents explaining about the programs at Capilano. We hope to do that very soon again. This is what Capilano is normally like. But as you know, right now we're juggling balls in the air because we are moving quickly to a different format. We've gone to something like this, online learning. I think it's a bit of a shock to some people, but at the same time, our students have adapted very quickly. Everybody is well used to using online methods, and we're keeping our social distancing, which is our most important activity, of course, at the moment. But we have actually closed down the campus right now, and everybody is learning from their home environments. What we've tried to do is keep people updated through what's on our website, and I invite you to go to our website and look at what is available there. It gives most of the questions, hopefully it addresses most of the questions that you would have about what is happening at the university. We have specifically put up a COVID-19 Capilano University response. And if you actually go to this and then you click on the CapU COVID-19 FAQs, it's very easy to find. It's just on capilanou.ca. Then if you go to that, then your next thing you'll come up with is a range of frequently asked questions that we believe will address most of your concerns. Now, we have put together a number of questions related specifically to international students. And I think, Carley, there's about 20 or more questions up there, I think. So we think that if you look at this, you'll look at the first one here, and it will be future international student applicants. And then the next one is newly admitted. So if you've got students that are coming in the summer or want to come in the fall, then I hope we've been able to address most of your questions there. Let's take a look at what we think are some of the most important ones. Carley, maybe you could help us with this. What do you think some of these most important questions will be?
So one of the biggest questions we've had, of course, is whether or not programs and classes are going ahead in the summer semester. We can confirm that courses will be going ahead completely remotely for the summer semester. And I think that students who are coming to Capilano University can still take those courses online, except we aren't sure yet. We haven't heard from the Government of Canada or IRCC whether students are able to take online courses from their home countries. So we are waiting to hear further information about that, which we will share with everyone as soon as we have it.
Yeah. So just for clarification, if you've got a new student that wants to come, that is originally scheduled to come in the summer, then right at the moment, we are not sure if they can begin their program of study outside of Canada. We will get an answer for you as soon as we can. The reason we're not sure is because we don't know what impact it would have on their postgraduate work permit. If they're a current student, it won't affect them. But if they're a new student and haven't started yet, we are not sure of the answer, and we're trying to find that answer out. Okay? So that's for clarification. So if you've got a if the student has a study permit and they got it before March 18th, even though they would be allowed to come to Canada as long as they met all the travel restrictions. In other words, they quarantined and so on. But of course, the problem is they can't get to Canada. There's no flights, and it's very hard to get here right now. So we're in a holding pattern. I know that's difficult for some of your students, but just please bear with us. We'll get an answer for you as soon as we can. We would like the students to be able to start in the summer online from outside of Canada, but we just don't have an answer for that just yet. We're getting that soon. Okay. Now, if you've got a student here, Carley, what we think there's some, I'll pass it back to you for what we think are the key questions they will have.
A big question is current students have is whether or not their postgraduate work permit is being affected by moving to online courses. We have confirmed that it will not be affected for current students who are studying in Canada, working through their coursework online. And then we also have I would say a big question is whether or not students leave Canada, whether they'll be able to return. And I think that as we've heard from Chris, it really does depend on the travel restrictions that are currently in place. And if students do choose to leave Canada, they have to understand that they'll need to self-quarantine once they return for at least 2 weeks as well. So those are two of the bigger questions that we do see quite frequently coming from students right now, from current students.
Yeah, so really importantly, the postgraduate work permit will not be affected if they're a current student and they're doing online studies. They can do those online studies in Canada or somewhere else. It's the new students we're not sure about yet. Now, it's if the student comes back to India, of course the challenge is we don't know if they've come back to India or they want to come back to India. We don't know when things will change, if they are going to change. They might change in the fall, we're not sure yet, to in-person classes. And if they do, then the student has to be back here for the in-person classes. So we're just, we're not advising students go home from a learning standpoint. We are just saying that if you have to come back, we'll notify you as soon as possible, but at this point in time, there's a 14-day quarantine before you're allowed to even start classes. So we have to be aware of those things. We'll try and do our best to meet all the students' interests. The other question that students have is about money. And we know that many of them have probably lost employment and they're probably having a difficult time financially. What we are doing is this week we are starting a calling campaign, and we're going to try and reach every student we can, every international student we can, and do our best to find out what situation they're in. We've been always invited, and we get feedback from them through email and through calling, but we're going to proactively call them ourselves and try and get answers to see how they're doing and what they need. So we don't have an answer for that yet. We are trying to get information to see how they're doing, and then we'll see what we can do to help. Okay, anything else, Carley?
I will just mention that as of right now, it also is important to know that the tuition deposits and payment deadlines have not changed. They will be remaining the same at this point.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, now if you've got more questions, please take a look at the FAQs. If you have further questions, contact us at agents@capilanou.ca or put a question there, and we'll try and get to these at the end of this session today. Now we're going to spend a little bit more time telling you about what we are normally like at Capilano and what we hope to be back to in the not too distant future, as do all of us. This is what university life is like there. It is a very engaged and social environment. We celebrate as much as we can. This, of course, is the Holy Celebration, and we love the celebration. I don't think the grounds people love the celebration. We've managed to destroy a few areas of grass, but we have a good time doing it. And anyway, that's just something that the entire university community gets involved in, and it's lots of fun. Similarly, this is something called a Unity project where everybody participated and demonstrated the web that was strong amongst them. It's rather ironic that right now that web is hopefully strong for us all in our relationships, but it's not as strong physically right at the moment. So this was something we did just last year. This is our main dining hall. It's a very social area for everybody to meet and gather in. And the campus is a really lovely campus. Most people that come to Capilano, when they arrive, they take a deep breath. The air is fresh. We're in amongst the trees. It's very green and lush, and it's something that we're very proud of. So we are this university which is really on the edge of the wilderness, and I mean that seriously, because we have deer, and I always tell people about the bears that come to the campus, but we do make sure the bears are gone, before students arrive. But there's all these neat little hideaways in this campus, as you can see, where students are just hanging out. And now, you know, a lot of people think that Canada is really cold. Well, it's not that cold in Vancouver. I mean, relative to India, I've been, as you know, I've been to India, and it is not warm compared to India. However, it's not terribly cold. We get maybe minus, how cold, Carly? -5, minus at the most.
Have to snow a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of snow. So we have snow days like this, but it quickly goes away, and the next thing you know, we're out there trying to do stunts and various other things on them. This is called a rail jam, and as you can see, the snow is pretty much gone. We only get snow for maybe a week at the most a year. So we're generally a very mild climate. So if your impression of Canada is a cold place, it's not really the case with Vancouver. A little rainy sometimes, but not cold. And as you can see, this is just one of our intakes for international students. We often have groups of 300, 400, 500 joining us in each semester. And we have about, now we have around 2,800 international students at the university. Many do come from India. We've got 20, so I think it's 1,200 from India, Carly, right? Something to that figure.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's somewhere that we are very diverse, and we have students from all over the world. I'm going to show you a 2-minute video clip. I hope that this works on your computer, and it just shows you a little bit about who we are, and this is all international students telling us a bit about in one word, what they think of Capilano University.
Hi, I'm Gabriel, and I'm from Brazil.
And I'm from India.
Vietnam.
From Mexico.
Taiwan. China.
North Van.
From Korea.
Colombia. CapU for me means opportunities, fun and friendship.
改变
Community.
Bad job. Getting it all started.
Multicultural.
CapU means communities to me.
A building step for my future.
짜란. 다양한 색깔의 힘.
Chifa. Capilano University means diversity for me.
Explore. Opportunity.
Fun and frolic.
Compromiso.
Tạo lập mối quan hệ.
New experiences. Felicidad.
Learning with fun.
Của nhau. It's having crazy.
Hopefully you're not too crazy. And I think I said one word. Well, students tend to say a bit more than one word, so I got a few more than that in there, but I hope that gives you a little bit of an impression. We're very diverse. We have students from 72 countries, I think it is, from around the world at our university. So I'm going to pass back to Carley and just tell us a little bit about what it's like to live in Vancouver.
Awesome, yeah. So I was just wondering, I was hoping we could use the raise hands function here. I was curious how many people on the webinar today have actually been to Vancouver and visited Vancouver before. Okay, a couple of raised hands. Awesome. I got 14, 17, 20, 21. A lot of people, awesome, okay. Great. So I guess all of you can attest, Vancouver is a pretty beautiful place. I'm a little biased. I grew up here. I love it. This image really does depict the feel of Vancouver, the ocean, the mountains, the fresh air, the greenery. It's just a very diverse city. You can actually go skiing in one day and then swimming down and suntan at the beach in the same day. It's pretty amazing. Chris, I think you got control there. Do you want to just slide to the next slide there? Yeah. So Vancouver is an urban city. Capilano University is a little bit outside of the downtown core, but that's kind of nice because you can kind of visit the urban core and then go to Capilano University, which is a little bit outside of the core. Vancouver is the 3rd largest city in Canada. I think Toronto is the biggest city. I would say ours is more beautiful though. We have been voted top 25 city for quality of life in 2018. I think we do get top 25 every year. It's an amazing tourist destination. There's tons of stuff to do within the city, so many different activities and things for students to enjoy. I myself love hiking and running. We've got beautiful seawalls, both in the downtown core as well as on the North Shore where Capilano University is located. Great hiking trails everywhere, which is amazing. Biking, swimming in the ocean, paddleboarding, basically any activity you can think of, you can do it in Vancouver. We do have a mild climate. So as Chris mentioned, it's actually just, it's more accessible, I suppose. It's not covered in snow half the year. It's not freezing cold like it is out east in Canada. So basically outdoor activities are available all year round. Very multicultural. We have strong areas within Vancouver and the Lower Mainland of various cultures throughout Vancouver. It's also really easy to access nearby oceans and mountains. Like I mentioned, all outdoor activities are really available all the time. It's a beautiful city for sure.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, we're pretty fortunate. And we know that the students love coming here, but we also know that they miss home too. So we do our best to help everybody that comes here transition and feel at home, and also fit in and adapt and enjoy the city as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a short while. Okay, so Carley's showing her prowess on these social media, on these electronic formats where you got to show your hands. Has anybody been to Vancouver? If you have, would you mind? Not Vancouver, to Capilano University. Has anybody been to Capilano University? If you wouldn't mind showing your hand there. Yogesh has. I can't see the names, but I can see the names coming up. Ah, good. All right, so a few of you. Excellent. Okay, so for those of you that have been there, hopefully this will remind you, and those of you who have not, then it will give you a really good insight to what we're all about. So the thing that a lot of people ask, why Capilano University? Why would your students be interested in coming here? And what can we offer that is unique or different or high quality? And that's what we're going to try and address in these slides here. As you might know, we just turned 50 years old. This is our president blowing out the candles. I think there was a candle on there, but there he is blowing out the candles. It's our 50th birthday party. And this is what we were like 50 years ago. This is actually a picture of our first classroom. And as you can see, in those days, people hung out. They all had long hair and beards, and well, not everyone had beards, but many had beards, and hanging out, just relaxing. And this is 50 years later, still got long hair and beard. So really nothing much has changed too much. But as you can see, it's a pretty casual place, and we like that about it. It's casual, yet we have high standards. We're part of something called the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. That's an American accreditation. We're one of only a few institutions in Canada that have that, which means that we have to meet all the standards of the same kinds of institutions that would be part of an accreditation system in the United States. Now that ranges from liberal arts colleges through to comprehensive universities of the highest quality. Everybody has to be a member of one of these accreditation organizations in the USA, and we're one of the very few in Canada that has that accreditation. It took a lot of work to get this. I was a dean through the years that we were doing this, and believe me, it was really hard work. We had to make sure that everything we did aligned with mission fulfillment, and it was a big undertaking. So we have to report to NWCC on a regular basis, and as you can see from the schedule here, right through, we've got our schedule mapped out to 2027 on how we are fulfilling the requirements of NWCCU. We are a teaching-focused university, and this is a very important thing to us. It's very important to the faculty. They take great pride in this. And it's part of our legislation as well. So we are very interactive. The students we like to get involved at a very personal level. Students all call us by our first names. Even the president is referred to as Paul. These students actually were my students in one of the classes I used to teach. Pretty relaxed environment, but hardworking. And every one of these students has gone on to accomplish great things. We are very engaged in our learning style. We like to have a real, as I said, a real personal relationship. This is an EAP program. This is an example of just the students together in the EAP. This is a wilderness leadership or an outdoor recreation program. We're going out into the forest. That's ice, by the way. It was a cold period of time right there. And the instructor right there, his name is Roy. He's got a picture of what it normally is like, and now what it's like now, and how that affects the ecosystem. So we get out and about and do that kind of work. This is a day that we had there. It was a global engagement day, something at our office, our international office organizers and students from around the world all celebrated their own cultures and backgrounds. And so we learnt together in that way. This is back to the picture of Roy I mentioned before. And this is just an example of our faculty all getting together and learning how to teach better. And we do many sessions like this where we actually try to enhance our teaching practice. It's enormously important to us. We have very strong partnerships with our sectors. I'm going to focus a little bit on tourism here, but it's not limited to tourism. This is just an example of one of our instructors, Noel Genoway, with a group of our students. This is one place we work closely with, is Capilano Suspension Bridge. If those of you who've been to Canada, I'll bet you went probably to the Capilano Suspension Bridge too, and it's a pretty neat place. Many students work there in all levels of the organization. We have sessions where we bring industry experts in. This is Walt Judas, the head of our Tourism Industry Association, British Columbia. And this is Shanky right here. And Shanky is an international student that joined us many years ago. He's gone on to run one of the largest tour companies in Vancouver, hires our students, has them on staff and things like that. We're also deeply involved with something called PATA, Pacific Asia Travel Association. And our student chapter is one of the best student chapter. And these are a number of our students, Sean, John, Karma, and they have all gone on to participate in global events, and our chapter has won the best chapter in the world for 2 years in a row. Something that we're really focused on is creativity, and that's going to be a big theme for us into the future. We have a very strong area of performing arts, film, animation, performing arts, but we are very interested in building the creative side of our university in all facets of what we do. We believe that that's something which is quite characteristic and unique to Capilano University, and it's something we want to put a lot of emphasis onto in the future. So every student, whether they're in arts and sciences, whether they're in business, whether they're in music, as these students are here performing with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra in a Christmas choir, they are all, we in every facet, we encourage creative arts and a creative side of learning. Happens to be one of our, it's a program called Idea Design Program. Again, this is our film program where students are out on campus filming all the time, and we play a huge role in the local industry, and we do performances, we combine all these elements together. They're all on campus, and from time to time we even get out there and celebrate. This was our 50th anniversary, but the band that we had was someone called Hey Ocean, and it had 2 graduates of Capilano University in the band, and it's great fun. A little example. We're also very focused on well-being, and this is a very important component of how we want to be known. We want to be known for looking after our students. Their physical and mental health is critically important to us. We signed on to the Okanagan Charter recently, which is a commitment to physical and mental well-being of our students. You know, we want people to celebrate. We want them to enjoy. We want them to be fit and healthy. We have a strong sports component. We want them to pour the Gatorade over the coach when we win, and we do win quite a lot. And we want to share food, culture, well-being. Those are all important things to us. As I mentioned before, not only are we a member of NWCCU, but we are, of course, recognized with the British Columbia's EQA designation, and we are very focused on quality of our programming, and we do regular self-assessment and assessment of programs to determine if our student learning outcomes are being delivered for every single student in every single program. One more thing I want to mention is about our commitment to Indigenous roots. It's very important to us. This is a picture of Ernie. He's one of our resident elders, and Ernie, I think Ernie is from the Squamish Nation, and he comes and he sits and joins us. You can go and have a conversation with Ernie on a Thursday, and his wisdom is deep and profound, and students really enjoy hearing from Ernie and our other elders that we have in residence. Recently, we had a canoe carved for our 50th anniversary, and this is a blessing of the canoe. These are elements which are really important to us, and we are strong believers in making sure that we are respectful, we engage with our First Nation and communities and cultural heritage in that regard. Okay, the next thing is community. We believe in a strong community on our campus. We love to get together, to celebrate, to be together. It's a journey to Canada when students come here, and we want them to be in Canada, but we also want them to recognize that they are something of what we call a cultural mosaic in Canada, where every culture is respected and acknowledged. This is a picture of one of our student mentors named Sagar. And Sagar is a wonderful illustration of somebody who's come to Vancouver and embraced the cultural heritage of embraced the culture, the multicultural environment of Vancouver and Capilano, but also recognized how important his history is to him as well. I'm going to show you a short video here, and this is to illustrate how Sagar came to the campus and how it was lonely at first, but how he learned to become part of a broader community. And I think you'll enjoy just hearing from Sagar and his story.
I still remember I started crying 3 days before leaving India. That feel you get when the plane takes off, oh my God. Yeah, that was the first time I was going out of my country, leaving my family was the first time. There's an uncle in India. He told me one thing, that Vancouver is the most beautiful place on this earth. But the isolation that came when I had no friends here. I came to Capilano on the very first day on my orientation. I'm just wandering around the campus and looking at faces, don't know where to go. I used to come to Cap, attend my classes and just going back home. But after joining this ILMP program, the mentorship program, it was drastically changed. That was and is a very big thing for me. When I joined the mentorship program, I didn't want any student to feel like how I felt. So what happened was it was the best mentor team for the year, and CIE got them on order saying proud mentor. That's very precious for me, this cap. Capilano is everything for me, because coming here to Canada, to a very different country, nobody knows you, and just because of these guys I got a chance to showcase what I have. Yeah, I am staying in Canada for now. If I wouldn't have joined a mentorship, I would have been just looking for jobs, and now I'm planning to study more in this thing for student advising. Here I created my own name because of what I have done. There's nothing to do with my family. That's kind of heartbreaking for me while leaving Capilano, that I'm kind of leaving my home.
Hey guys, I'm Sagar and I'm from India.
Well, Sagar is an awesome guy. We love him. And I thought it would be interesting to show you that video because it's what a real experience is like for the students when they come here. What we try to do is we do pre-departure sessions with the students, and I've met, I think, well, maybe probably 1,000 students and family members in the last year. And it's really important to me and to us at Capilano University that we make that connection. And when they come to Canada, immediately they see me when I go around the campus. And it's a great feeling that we reconnect once we get back to the campus. But we're trying to do more of that and trying to make sure that transition is really successful for individuals so that they have more success when they get to the university. So we do have a great lifestyle here at Capilano, as I say, built in the tree. We live amongst the trees. We live in a great city. I'm not going to show this clip because it'll take a little bit of time. But as you can see, we've got this 50 years of experience. We're a teaching and learning university. We've actually got 3 campuses now. One that is new is in Lonsdale, and we operate one of our NABU programs from that Carley's going to speak about in a moment. We're quite accessible to downtown Vancouver, and we have this wide array of programs, and we try to make sure that we have a very strong connection to our students. So in terms of our programs, you've probably seen this thing, which is the student guide. Now this has a lot of information in it. It's our international student guide. You saw Gabriel before, and he was in the video clip, and here he is featured in this fold out guide. And so we have a brief introduction to what the university is about, what you can do there, how a little bit about the nature of where we live. And then we get into real detail of every program based on the area of the program, when it starts, whether it's got co-op, when it starts, and what the fees are. That gives you a pretty solid starting point. But there's more to know about these programs, of course. So we'll start with, we've got a list here. We're not gonna draw on every one. We're gonna focus on a few right now in the interest of time. I'll start with the first one. We have a lot of students that are interested in associate degree. Actually, I'm gonna pass over to Carley because she's good at this stuff. So Carley, you could tell us about the associate degrees, what they are, and we'll start with humanities, and then we'll go to sciences and STEM.
So I'll just explain a little bit of what an associate degree means at Capilano University. When you see the word associate, you can think of it as the credential is being completed in association with another institution. So what that means is you're going to spend your first 2 years studying at Capilano University to complete the first 2 years of, say, a full 4-year bachelor degree, and then you would go on to another institution in British Columbia to finish year 3 and 4 of that bachelor degree. Or you can choose to finish it after that 2-year mark and graduate with the diploma. In the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, we do have a few full bachelor degrees to choose from, one being the Applied Behavior Analysis Bachelor, as well as the Liberal Studies Bachelor. The nice thing about the Liberal Studies Bachelor is it is basically a choose your own adventure type of degree. You can select any courses that interest you to build out that full bachelor degree, and a lot of students like the flexibility of that. And going back to the associate degrees, we do have in arts as well as sciences associate degrees. And in sciences, you can focus on biology or just general sciences. And then we do have engineering diplomas as well as certificates to choose from. Under education, health, and human development, we have our early childhood care education diploma as well as bachelor. Nice thing to mention here is that in the on Capilano University, we do have a childcare center on campus. It's rated the top facility in British Columbia. And so a lot of students get to actually complete their practicums on campus with our childcare facility that is there, and it's available to students as well. We also have a musical therapy bachelor degree. It's the only one in North America. So a very unique program for any students who are musically inclined and want to help people through therapeutic means. Also have rehabilitation assistant diploma and healthcare assistant certificate. And our School of Motion Picture Arts, Capilano University, I would say this is one of our top, most popular programs at Capilano University. It's an amazing motion picture arts full bachelor degree. You can do the diploma as well. Capilano University has a full backlot on campus, so students can actually fully film entire movies on campus. It's pretty unique. Not a lot of other institutions have that option for students. We also have 2D and 3D animation diploma programs, which are very, very popular as well as documentary and visual digital effects programs. In the School of Performing Arts, we've got a lot of programs here as well. We do have a full bachelor in jazz studies, which you can focus in either education or performance and composition. Music diploma, when you see the word music, they mean classical music. So if your students are more inclined toward classical, I would encourage them to apply to that program. Just taking note of the jazz studies and music diploma, students can do their auditions remotely as well. So that is an option for students who are not in Canada. Same goes for acting for stage and screen and musical theater. They can audition remotely. Just as a note for acting for stage and screen and musical theater, those are very unique programs with heavy performance composition attached to them. So even though they say diploma, which typically means 2 years, those two programs are actually 3 years in duration because of the heavy performance component. Then we have technical theater and conducting as well. And Chris mentioned earlier, we do have our Bachelor Visual Communications under our Idea School of Design, also a very, very popular program. Does require a portfolio component, so students do need to prepare a portfolio and submit it online in order to be considered for this program. And then we also have preparatory and pathway programs. So what that means is that students can start enhancing their English skills if they're not quite feeling confident enough or comfortable with their English just yet. They can start out in some of the EAP programs that are then built to continue on into business or early childhood care and education, or arts. You can continue on in arts and sciences as well. Going into business and professional studies, again, a very, very popular program. A lot of students really want to take business. Just talking about the bachelor degree first, students can select between all of the regular concentrations: accounting, finance, human resources, international business, and marketing. And we do have the diploma as well as the full 4-year degree. Students can come in and complete the 2 years or continue on to complete the 4 years. Another really popular program is, of course, our North American Business Management Post-Baccalaureate program. Just to clarify between the two, we have, actually I'll go into that a little bit into the next slide. I'll just mention here we also have communications, full bachelor degree in communications. We recommend this program for students who are interested in who are strong writers and are interested in pursuing a career that really plays off their ability to write, as well as speak usually as well. And legal studies is another really popular program too. So just to clarify between the NABU programs, I know there can sometimes be a little bit of confusion because they are quite similar. So the NABU, just plain NABU, is the 1-year program. It does not include a practicum component, and it does only qualify for a 1-year postgraduate work permit. The NABU Applied program is the 2-year program. It includes a 6-month practicum and qualifies for up to a 3-year postgraduate work permit. Students can complete this in a shorter amount of time, depending whether or not they start in January or if they start in September, and also on whether or not they want to take more courses per term. So they can kind of
I think we've lost Carley there for a minute, but as you can see, the word applied is the most important word that you need to remember when it comes to NABU. The NABU without applied does not include the practicum and is only a 1-year PGWP, and the applied is the one with the practicum and has up to 3 years. So as Carley was mentioning, they have the option, the students have the option of doing the NABU, the first one, and doing postgraduate work and going to our partner university at Hertfordshire in the UK and completing their degree as well. Now, I am a bit conscious of time, but I'm going to move through these last programs and then get to some important questions you have before we get to the Q&As. There's one other area, Carley is back, that's terrific. So there's one other area that we have, which is very popular for our students from India, and that's the School of Tourism. We have a post-baccalaureate in Global Tourism and Hospitality Management. Now, if I could just clarify a point going back to NABU, there might have been some, we had a change for NABU where the IELTS requirement was at 6 and it got raised to 6.5. So NABU is a 6.5 IELTS admission requirement. The school, the tourism, global tourism post-baccalaureate is a 6 IELTS requirement. Of course, 6 no lower than 6 in any band, and 6.5 no lower than 6 in any band. So it's a, this one has that small opening, but we do prefer students that have higher ratings just because they'll have more success in the program. We also have something called TMI, Tourism Management for International Students. It's a 2-year diploma and it's a very, very popular. And believe it or not, that's got a 5.5 IELTS admission acceptance. Again, we prefer students a little bit higher, but we support them if they're not quite there yet with additional support in the program. So we're very conscious about where they're coming in at. So that's those are our two programs there. Now, of course, we know with SDS that you know, it's 6.5 for SDS, so it doesn't always make a huge difference to most of the students coming from India, but nevertheless, those are options for those programs. And then lastly, we've got outdoor recreation, which is actually, it's a 2-year program. If you've got students that really love the outdoors, this is a great program. It ladders straight into the Bachelor of Tourism Management degree if they want to do that. And we've also got human kinetics. We've got 2 diplomas, physical science and exercise science, physical education and exercise science, and we're right in the approval stage right now of a degree. So, okay, so when you come to Capilano, this is the team that you'll be dealing with. This is our CIE team. There's a few new faces in there, but basically this is our team, and they deal with all the admissions and so on. And we also have a group of mentors as well. Thank you, Carley, by the way. We just lost you for a minute, but you're back now, so that's great. We have a group of mentors, and these mentors are assigned to students when they come, if they want a mentor, and they are their first-hand person to support them. We want to mention about living in Vancouver, because many students choose to live out in somewhere which you'll be very familiar with, called Surrey. Now, Surrey is a great place. I know it well. I certainly like Surrey, many great features about it. Doesn't have the forest of North Vancouver, I mentioned that. But most importantly, it takes quite a while to get from Surrey to Vancouver under normal circumstances, which we all hope we'll get back to and not too far away. I took this as a screenshot off my phone to show you just how long it was taking. It's 41 minutes, but as you can see, we often get this bad congestion which goes over the bridge. That's Capilano University, Surrey out here. So it's 41 minutes if a student has a car, and that doesn't include actually getting in the car, getting organized. As you can see, that congestion really mounts up sometimes. So if they want to take the train, it takes an hour and 26 to get from Surrey to Vancouver. Again, it's quite a long way. And and the trains and the buses are also affected. If they want to walk, it'll take 5 hours and 19 minutes. So that might give you a bit of a sense of just how far it really is. So we're very conscious about this, and we encourage students to stay in Vancouver. We've got a wonderful residence. Just a few images of people checking into the residence. And we've had it now for nearly coming on 3 years. We've got 3 resident halls. We can take 250 students. It's about 4,500 per semester, all inclusive, and it's a very good way for the students to get started at Capilano University. They make friends, they then go out, they move into apartments, things like that, and it works very well. So I just wanted to alert you to the options of residence.
I'll just jump in real quick to residents really quickly. That $4,500 does include everything: your internet, your laundry, your food, and as much food as you want. It's all you can eat option. And when you're looking for accommodation in North Vancouver, it is, I mean, we are a little bit more of an expensive city, so that is quite a good value actually if students don't have to worry about shopping or paying bills. It's all just together. It also includes parking. It's very convenient, and it's only about a 10-minute walk away from campus.
Yeah. So we encourage it because it makes a big, big difference to the students' learning experience and their success. So if you are looking for advice to students, it's something we definitely encourage. Stay close and local. Now, in terms of admissions, all the admission requirements are online, so you can look at those specifically. It's the key issue for you will be about GPA and English proficiency. Typically it's 6.5. We are trying to attract students into the arts and sciences, but maybe with a 7 is what we would really like, but you know, we know that that's not always achievable. But it's very important that the students are ready. Right now, the TOEFL and IELTS centers are closed in a lot of parts of the country. We are looking at using Duolingo as an alternative. That has not been approved yet, but we are looking at it. Many other institutions are already doing that. So it is on our radar. We know that that doesn't work for SDS yet, but we also know that that's being suggested. So in terms of English language, as you can see, this is really tells us here that it's 6.5, no band under 6 is the general full admission academic programs, with a few exceptions like the TMI program, the EAP pathway programs, and the Global Hospitality and Tourism Post-Baccalaureate. Okay, I will skip on that. Applications, we've got information on the back of your student guide on how to access it, get into it, but I'll just pass this on here. The applications for fall 2020, we're looking, our deadline currently is May 31st. We still have a lot of room in the fall, and Chirag and the team, Dakshita know that, and so if you have questions, please contact them. If you have students, we would love to have them join us still for the fall. The deposit days are June 3rd. July is our registration week, and the tuition deadlines are there in August. Spring, we're looking at application deadline at the moment of October 15th, and that we have to have our registration shortly after that. So we've got a team which is working quickly. Right now, if you apply now, we'll get your application done in very short order. And we've got a very efficient system. When I came into this job 2 years ago, we had a lot of waits. We're not in that situation now. We've improved our efficiency significantly, and we've got our systems up so we can handle very fast turnarounds to you. just have to make sure you have all the proper documentation. We should be able to do that for you very effectively. There are some programs that require earlier deadlines, and a few examples are the animation programs, visual effects, where they actually have to have a portfolio in hand. So you have to look for those sorts of programs a lot earlier. When what we're able to do with most programs is if you've got a student which has a GPA over 2.5, we can often do a direct accept through the international office. If it's less than 2, then we know it's not going to pass, so we decline it. Where we get a little bit of a delay oftentimes is when we've got a 2.0 to a 2.4, and that goes for a departmental review. So that means it's not in our hands, it's now in the department's hands, and we don't always have control of that, but we do our best to encourage very quick turnarounds. And the tuitions, the refunds and so on are as normal. I want to move to our question and answers fairly quickly here, but I want you to know that we have a welcome guide for international students. We've thought out, I think, every single question we can. As soon as the student is admitted or accepted, we give them access to this, and they can get a whole range of information about all kinds of elements, accommodations, medical, transportation, and all sorts of things. It is really important to us about the student success, and we put a lot of emphasis on these types of important points for when we're getting the students ready, about attending classes, familiarizing themselves, and so on. But of course, we're in this new phase now where we're dealing with a new environment with the online learning. But we're adapting as quickly as we can, and we promise that we are putting a great deal of emphasis into enhancing our capacities for online learning, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we have the same quality of standard services to your students. We've got more information to share with you, but for now we want to get some questions. So for those students that come to us, we welcome you. For those that you have been to Vancouver, if you ever get the chance to come to Vancouver, we would love to have you come join us. Obviously, we're all just waiting for normalcy to return, some level of normalcy to return to our lives, and we look forward to the day that we can have you back and with us on campus. Okay, so any questions that you might have? So I'm going to, I think, pass it back to Dashita now to help us with that.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for asking us so many questions. We have Chris and Carley with us, those who will be taking up the questions. So Chris and Carley, I will be, reading to the questions one by one. So one of the agents wants to ask, students of May 2020 intake, can they defer to September 2020 intake?
The answer to that is yes, they can defer, and we will. They need to send us an email to at inted@capilanou.ca. The reason we haven't announced that just yet is because we actually would like to provide them the opportunity to start online. So if we're not able to do that, then we will, of course, enable them to defer. We will put them as a priority into the programs that are available in the fall. So we're trying to. The reason we have not said please defer is because we'd really like to provide them the opportunity to start in the summer now, and it really won't make a lot of difference at this point because nobody can travel here anyway. So we just would like to get an answer for that. If you could bear with us for a few more days, we will give you an answer. And the real issue is that the students, we can accept them, they can start, but we don't know what impact it will have on their postgraduate work permit as of yet. So if they start now and they get to the end and that wasn't valid, then they had a semester left, that wouldn't be helpful to them. So we'd just like to make sure we've got the right answer before they start. But if not, we'll defer them.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And that actually answers most of the questions, where I can just see defer questions all the time. So yes, I hope that this answer was helpful for everyone. So the second question.
Can I just say, Dashida, we will get an update to you at the very least by today's Monday, isn't it? Yeah, by the end of the week. We're getting an update to you by the end of the week. If you could hold off till then, that would be helpful. But as I say, we are very conscious of deferrals, and we will make sure a deferral is possible if we're unable to offer a start now.
Okay, thank you. The next question is that can we offer admissions on the basis of conditional basis, and the condition has to be IELTS, as IELTS centers are closed and the exams and tests have been postponed. So what is your say on that?
Yeah, so what we've said is we would like you to still submit. We've got your application. I know that the real issue for us is SDS, actually, because we're now in a position where we're looking for an alternative way of assessing, and we're probably going to go to Duolingo, but that is not confirmed yet. It's got, we've taken it up the steps in the institution, but it's not confirmed yet. However, it's very probable. But we need to, can we do a conditional? We will hold the application, is what we're saying to you, this until we get an answer for that. We're going to try and do a conditional, is what I want to tell you right now. I hope that's an acceptable answer to you.
I'll just jump in really quickly. If you're applying through the Education Planner BC portal, you may be required to upload at least some kind of document to show that you've submitted an IELTS. At this point, it's okay to upload just a blank sheet of paper as a PDF, just to move the application forward, and so that we can wait until you're able to submit the English scores.
Thanks, Carly.
Okay. Thank you. So the next question is, Carly, you mentioned about the residence. So they are asking that the residence is $4,500. So is this for a semester or for a month, or would you like to explain more about the cost breakup?
For the semester, yes.
Okay.
Not for the month.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the next question is again about the IELTS. So I believe that Chris has answered that question, and we will be updating you very soon on your email IDs about the recent update. Yeah, so there is another question. Please guide us regarding scholarship. So Carly or Chris, do you wanna add something onto it?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about scholarships. We don't have any exceptional scholarships other than in sports. We actually have about 15 scholarships if the students excel in sports. At this point, though, we don't have a wide array of scholarships for international students. Our approach has been to try and set a reasonable tuition, but I know that students like scholarships. We don't have a range of scholarships right now, so that's our answer to that. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Carly, do you have anything to add to that?
There are a few. There's one or two that international students can apply for. And then on our financial aid and awards website, we do have a list of external scholarships that international students can apply to. So maybe it's a little less research work to find some that apply for that international students qualify for. But other than that, yeah, Chris, you're right.
Okay, thank you. So the next question that I see a lot, which is coming up, is our agents, they want to know again about the IELTS requirement. So if any one of you can explain about the IELTS requirement for the international students.
Yeah. So I just want to be clear on one thing. Now, NABU is a 6.5 IELTS requirement. So there was a bit of uncertainty. That was changed in about 2 semesters ago. But it is a 6.5 IELTS requirement for NABU. It's a 6 for the hospitality and tourism, global hospitality and tourism post-baccalaureate. As for the testing, just to confirm, as Carley said, submit at this point. If the application is being submitted, it needs to, we'll enter a blank sheet at this point in time. We were trying to get to a conditional on that, and we are trying to move to Duolingo, but we realize that that has complications for SDS, and we know that that's being raised with IRCC at the moment. However, I don't have an update for that just yet. We will continue to work on it, and we will give you, we'll give an agent update at the end of the week on these items, if not sooner. If we have information sooner, we'll share it sooner.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, another question. I know that there might not be a clear picture of this, but still it's good to know that will the tuition be reduced if the classes are conducted online?
Yes, at this point, there is no change to tuition.
Okay. The next question is, okay, so the next question is like very simple, that do we accept applications which are post the deadline? So if you would like to answer this.
If we process after the deadline?
Yeah, do we accept applications post the deadline?
Mostly we stick to the deadline because it really boils down. The deadlines have been, as you can probably tell, extended right now, especially for the fall semester, because we realize that it's such an unusual time, number one, and students are still making up their minds. Number two, we need to have that deadline though, the May deadline, because registration is basically within 2 weeks. So if we don't do it, we won't be able to, students won't be able to get a study permit, assuming they'll be able to come here in September. So we can't go much beyond. And the reason is that it actually doesn't work for the student. But if you've got an exceptional circumstance, please contact our team, our subcontinent office, and we'll try and address it that way.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris and Carley. We have got the same questions again and again, and I believe that we have cleared almost all the questions. So would you like to conclude, Chris and Carley, anything to our agents?
Carley, you could start.
Well, thank you so much for your time, everyone. Yes, we will be following up to provide all of this information for you, so you will have it handy. Yeah, and thank you very much for listening to us today.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to just echo that, and thank you for listening to us. We hope that there was some new information, or at least there was a reminder of what we've got at Capilano, but also some new information and answers to your questions. We realize that it's such a difficult time for all of us right now, and we just hope that you are safe and well, and we really appreciate your support. We hope we're communicating with you adequately. We're trying our best to keep you updated as we get information. I encourage you to please look at those FAQs on the website, and it should address most of the questions. And I promise that we'll be updating those FAQs as we get new information. We just wish you all the best, and we really appreciate your support, and we look forward to working with you and to your students joining us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris and Carley, for this informative session. We hope this session was informative and you took some learning from this session. Thank you all our education agents for participating with us in this exclusive MSM Live e-Summit of CapU. In case you have missed anything, don't forget to tune in on 9th April with us. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy.